Welcome. I want to just invite you to take a moment to celebrate. Here we are, just to celebrate. Here we are. We can give and receive attention. I love having giving and receiving attention as a core, just a core practice. And I so look forward to these times. And my cats know. So they come in and they're all ready, and they park themselves in different places because they know that this is a time where there's going to be accelerated attention given and received. And it was just occurring to me as I was brushing my teeth, which is one of the places where, when things are in flow, it's one of the places I get creative ideas when I'm in the shower. And so I was brushing my teeth and I thought, oh, what am I giving attention to? And I think I want to mess around with our default, what we give attention to, because most people are giving attention to what's wrong. And so when you go to give attention to you, I'd like you to just notice. I mean, I gave it away, but if you're giving attention to yourself, my guess is that the default for most of us is, what's wrong, what's tight, what hurts, what. And so so just acknowledge that and let yourself notice, where is the usual place that you are giving your attention to. That usual, oh, there it is again. It might be your back or might be your neck. I have this place on the left side of my neck that's sort of been there forever. And actually that has shifted for me. So that's a great thing. But I want you to just notice, when you give attention to that place, what happens to your overall experience of your energy, your aliveness, your ability to connect? For me, yeah, exactly. It kind of goes, and then it becomes like same old, here we are again. And so shifting that to what's open, let yourself give attention to what's open and also let yourself land on it. I had the image today when I was finishing meditating of a jellyfish, the jellyfish expansion. And I want to invite you to let your attention land on you with that kind of jellyfish expansion and floating. So even if you're landing on a place that is a place of contraction, or a place where you go, oh, where you ground yourself in heaviness, what happens when you give, like jellyfish, attention to that? Like letting it land, because almost always another aspect of attention is that we let it land. Mostly it's like pay attention, and to me it feels pokey, like it, like me, pay attention. So what if you gave attention to that place in you, like a jellyfish, and then notice, how does your body want to respond? Because for me, part of what we're doing is waking up all of these connections, so that I'm waking up more flow. I'm waking up more, oh, this is connected to this, and oh, and then this can open up, and then when I give my attention outward, I then tend to look for what's open out here. Where is there space, rather than, oh God, I forgot to cut the plant yesterday. And that we tend to take that same to our looking outward. And so if you give yourself attention inward and let your attention land, and then let your body respond to that, and then let yourself loop out, letting your attention go out, and notice where it wants to land. And what if you gave that kind of floating, interesting but not attached kind of attention to out there? Now notice, if you haven't noticed already, I use my body a lot. And one of the things I want to invite you to do is to let your body respond. So we usually keep our attention, when we're giving and receiving attention, we keep it up here. And that's a lot for your head to carry. That's a lot for your head to process. So when you let your whole body open up to just responding, receiving and responding, and then letting your attention go out and landing, letting that bring that attention back. So this time when I'm bringing my attention back, I've received this sort of brightness of a plant that I landed on. And then when I bring that back to me, it gives me a little bit of a different, it's like, budding and expanding kind of attention. So the basic thing that I'd love for you to do with your attention is landing and letting your body respond. You can play with different ways of landing, but the one that was coming to me today was a more fluid kind of landing. Because what for me comes with what's wrong is contracted and pokey. And that just makes what's wrong more wrong. It makes it more contracted, like, uh-oh. So what if, like, choose a place in you that speaks to you, that's kind of grumpy. Like I have my my left hip, because I carried a 10.5 pound baby, on one side of my body, like duh. So I have my my left hip is always a little bit cranky. And so if I let my attention land on that, like the jellyfish that is just being there around that part of my body, and then I let my body respond, I immediately experience more flow. And that's my word for it. But I'd love for you to notice, you may not be able to give words to it exactly, but you'll notice that something happens if you let yourself land and then you let your attention float around a place rather than poking at it or trying to mess with it. If you let it just be around and letting that flow through, and then letting your body respond. So you're not trying to do it all with your thoughts, or all by being, stiff, like you're sitting at a lecture. That letting your body respond will give you more openness to life than practically any other move that you can make. So we usually try to figure it out rather than responding. And responding is actually at the heart of responsibility. It is your ability to respond. So if you're letting yourself respond to your attention without really any content, without any, what it means, you're just letting your body respond, what you will get is more flow of aliveness, more flow of your ability to respond, to let your attention flow to different places, to let it include more of you. So let yourself now, because I see that some of you are still very studious about this. So I'd like you to check where in your body you feel most serious and most studious. And then let yourself imagine that there's a little jellyfish that lands on top of that and kind of goes boing, boing, like your little internal trampoline, jellyfish trampoline. There's a poem forming here. I can hear it. We could call it Jellyfish Trampoline. and then noticing if you would be willing to let yourself receive, respond as a pulsation for your play this week. And it just so happens to go with the card that I chose. And I love it how all of that, something will occur. Oh, I want to play with that. And then something else will open up to weave with that. And so for me, it's just such a lovely way to let my creativity emerge from my aliveness and from my whole body aliveness. So let yourself just let your awareness go into this card, and then just let your body respond to what you're seeing and what you're feeling, what you're sensing through looking at the card. And I actually can experience motion in this when I let my body respond. It becomes not a card, it becomes something where all of the colors and all of the different textures begin to move. And the card really becomes alive to me. So letting yourself look and respond and let yourself listen first to the sentence here. I experience reality directly through my body and make genuinely response able choices. One of the things I love about this is this first part of the sentence. I experience reality directly through my body and make genuinely response able choices. And then the question is, how can I shift from defensiveness into genuine openness to learning and discovery? So that's kind of what we've been practicing. I'll say that once more. How can I shift from defensiveness into genuine openness to learning and discovery? So as you look at that, the card, and you let yourself receive that and then letting your body respond, what you're also opening is your whole body thinking, your whole body intelligence, so that your body wisdom, your images and memories, your feelings, your emotions can all inform you as you're opening to respond, to receive and to respond. And as I'm looking at this card, I like it more and more because it has the electric flash of the aha, and it has a foot looks like it's turning into a whale, and then a whale looks like it's turning into a hummingbird, and then a dove, and then all of these, this evolutionary responsiveness that comes from letting myself be with, letting my attention circulate through my whole body. So we often think of defensiveness as a intellectual process, but I want you to now, let's come on back to the big group. So the defensiveness to me is that I am contracting, and that I've gone into fear. Defensiveness is a form of fear. And defensiveness is not responding, but reacting. So let yourself just for a moment play with your most common way of defending. So when I just said that, my body went, I defend mostly in my jaw. I get really sort of, my jaw kind of gets tough, and I get a little bit of tension in my neck, like, and when I hear my mind goes, you can't make me, so, I know it's about 2-year old. My defensiveness first got instilled at about 2. So letting yourself, first of all, take some love scoops into the place where you feel most defensive. So for me, I'm going to take them into my jaw. Also, for me, I was just getting all of the times that I kept myself from saying the thing that I wanted to say, like, stop that, I didn't like that, I feel angry at you, that was stupid. So from defensiveness is a way also of shutting down your authentic response to life. So when you just do a few love scoops. For me, this like when I just and that opening of I don't have to carry that. I can let that move through. And then I'm able to respond. So giving attention is so much more effective than talking to yourself, because mostly the way that we talk to ourselves is pretty much, don't stop it, don't do that, what are you doing, what's wrong with you now? So when you let yourself give your attention to your whole body, you return to just the flow of, things that are coming and going and moving through, and you're able to be here more. So just check and see if you feel more. I feel more presence, just more available, just from the circulation of attention. So what I want to do now is to take a look at our Presence Connect play. So for those of you who may be new to our Mondays, welcome, welcome. And I'm doing a whole combo plate now of loop of awareness and love scoops and our integrity cards, and also our app that's called Presence Connect Play. And let's go ahead and put that in the chat too, just in case there's somebody new here who can have access to that, because it's something that our community has been developing for several years now. And what it can replace is seeing something, judging yourself, getting defensive, arguing with the other person. It replaces drama with I get here, I presence myself, I connect, and then I see what wants to happen between us. What wants to happen between me? I do this with my garden. I don't just do it with other people. You can do it with animals. I do it. We have we have a family of peacocks. There used to be one peacock over across the street, and now we have an entire family. And the mama brings her, she has 5 little baby peacocks, and every time they come over here, they're bigger. It's like boom, boom. And she's so proud of them. She'd like to bring them over to visit us every day. Like, here are my babies. And so the flow of presence and then connection, and then what's the collaboration that wants to happen, that's really that can be your vocabulary. That can be your way of interacting in the world. I've been practicing this now for several years. And what I can guarantee you is that you will have so much more fun. Because what you'll be doing is recognizing, here I am, here you are, what wants to happen. And it can be just a look, but I've had spontaneous interactions happen, because when I presence and then I connect, something emerges like, oh, I love the angle of that hat. And the other person, I can see them kind of just, what almost always happens is an appreciation will emerge. And that appreciation, even if it's nonverbal, I'm just simply appreciating them, they get it. And then I get it back. And we're establishing a completely different kind of flow than who are you and who gets to be in control here. And I got to be power over you in this situation. And it allows for us to celebrate the possibilities of just being human, moment to moment, day to day. And that's what I'm up to. So I want to share with you our Presence Connect play for today. So to let yourself get here even more and be real, I'd like you to let yourself take 3 relaxed breaths. So letting your breath move into any area in you that's wanting more, and then releasing that. So I like to think of this is also something you could use the jellyfish image for, because a relaxed in breath and a relaxed out breath, and in sort of jellyfish rhythm, letting yourself have 3 of those, and then change your physical position in some way. It doesn't have to be big. It can just be just a little shift. This is something that's just incredibly valuable to adapt during your day, because especially if you're seated, you're working on your computer, you're going to get into a posture that's going to be lessening your aliveness. And so simply taking those 3 connected jellyfish breaths and then changing your physical position refreshes you. And there's research on this, that this way of being with yourself, this little process, is more effective than medication. So you can be renewing your aliveness moment to moment with that particular move. So so that's for present. And then connect. to give attention to where others' body and breath is open. So we can practice this with each other. So you can loop out and loop to somebody else who's on the call. And for those of you who might be reviewing this, just let that happen with somebody that you think of. So letting yourself give attention to where in somebody else are you experiencing openness? Yes. And then bringing that back to you and maybe even applying it to the area where you still feel a little gritchy, and then letting your body respond. So a general principle that we use, that is Gay and I in our community use, is giving attention to what's open. We call it favoring the opening. So mostly we favor what's wrong. So if you just let yourself experiment with favoring the opening and then noticing how you receive that and then letting your body respond, you can be in a flow of opening all day long. And when you forget, you can come back to taking your 3 breaths, changing your physical position. So the process is never staying. A lot of people say, how can I stay present? And I say, well, you don't, and how can I stay connected? You don't. You're going to, something will come up, you'll get distracted, you'll remember something, you'll get angry at the other person, you have to pee, you're hungry. All of these things are going on all the time. And as you let yourself ground in particularly the loop of awareness, receiving, responding, you renew yourself all day long. So, and because of that, I now with, Gay and I realize that it doesn't really matter what we're doing, that what's underlying that is this flow of love and connection that is always there. And you can generate that flow of love and connection inside yourself and also with others. And you can be a source of that, generating and blooming in other people as well. And play, chunk, the word chunk. And what we have a website now for going more deeply into each of these skills, and chunking is actually a skill that takes time to to develop. I was remembering earlier, years and years ago, when I was giving directions to a group. We had a group of, it was probably over 100 people, and they were in this big gym, and I was going to give them directions about how to do a movement process. And I just started like, like a steamroller's coming out of it. And I just started giving the directions, and then you'll be over here. And then this group, you'll pick a partner. And then when your partner goes, and I just kept going. And by this time I finally looked out, and everybody was kind of blinking. And, some people had sort of started looking at other people like, where's the exit? And can I get out of here? And and then I finally realized, oh, chunking is when I first started to practice like 1 out breath. So this is when I first started to learn, like, all right, everybody choose a partner. And then I would pause. And then I would say, all right, does anybody not have a partner? Because because even with that, I'd start with, now, does everybody have a partner? And then I have to check with everybody instead of the chunking. Does somebody not have a partner? So for chunking, and this is especially for those of you who just have whole prose poems to share with the world. So 1 out breath, and you know who you are. 1 out breath, and then just pause and maybe even do a loop of awareness. Because then you'll get, oh, how did that land? Oops, I missed somebody. And then you can say, oh, looks like you have a question. And that learning how to do that allows you to keep weaving your connection rather than just, you're off down the street, like leading the parade, and you realize there's nobody behind you because they all didn't get, oh, were we supposed to start? Or, so chunking, the gist of that is one out breath, and then loop. One out breath, and then, okay, was there more? How did that land? Oh, no, did you have a question? So it allows you to then keep connecting. So you give a direction, or I felt really sad. And then you pause rather than I felt really sad because so it also helps for when you're giving attention to you. So like, I feel sad. And then being with that. Like yesterday when we had this big announcement, I all day long I was crying. I just kept crying. And and here it comes again. And so I kept like, well, what's going on? Whatever. I started sort of trying to adjust myself instead of going, oh, you're just flowing. And then giving myself attention. And that, as that's continued, my aliveness for being able to respond to the new landscape has really been expanded. So that's the practices for today. And so now just take a moment and look around and notice how much more, there's just much more liveliness going on, and check in with you. And so like I feel much more flow, but it's easy flow. It's not like frantic flow. And the kind of flow that you might want to generate, give that kind of attention to you and to others. So thank you so much for being at the beginning of the week and opening a template for exploration. And I'm going to take my leave now. I like leave down here, my little button in the corner, leave. And you're welcome to stay and continue sharing with each other. And I look forward to seeing you all next time. Mwah. Take care.